going to talk about the format in which I'm more comfortable interacting with people. This being either through video, but definitely audio. Essentially, the idea is I am way more comfortable in doing back and forth with the community using this type of format. I don't know if it's because I'm a non-native English speaker. Clearly, my English is good, or good enough, anyways. I grew up knowing English, being surrounded by English, but it's not my first language. My first language is French. I think in French. I translate in English as I'm speaking right now. I did all of my education, all of my learning in French as a first language. If I'm at home with my parents, for example, or with very close friends, especially if they're French, then yeah, French is my first language. English is a tool that I use, one that I'm very much comfortable with, but English is not my first language. And I don't know if it's because of that or if it's also cultural. And so part of being French is very different culturally. And those of you who perhaps have been to my neck of the woods in Canada, if you go to the Quebec province where I grew up, and if you go to the rest of Canada, it is very distinct culturally. And so I don't know if also it is a cultural thing that perhaps I prefer this medium to engage and to communicate with people. All that to say, the idea of me chatting with people, like the back and forth chatting, I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not good at it. It's kind of difficult for me to do so. It's not necessarily pleasant. It's not my preferred method of communication. And so, as much as I read everything, and I do, and I say this I say this all the time. I've said this frequently. I read everything. So what I do get as input from the community, definitely a large part of that comes through text. And I read a lot. I'm a prolific reader. I'm a prolific reader. I read a lot. I read a lot, just inside of YAS, but outside of YAS as well. Just in general, I read a lot. I've always read a lot. I've always had multiple books going on at once. I love reading. However, the writing aspect of things is definitely not down my alley. I can write. I do enjoy writing, but it is definitely more difficult for me to do so. I much rather and I much more enjoy the art of speaking. And so over the next few months, you'll see more of these videos like this, where I essentially engage in a discussion, which is very much one-sided. Right now, I'm the only one recording. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the camera right now, but I'm talking to you, the audience, the community. But then where those subjects come from, and what I'll be talking about, and where I get my inspiration. And you'll definitely see where I also grow as an individual, and what the output is. Essentially, you'll find yourself in that. And you'll find yourself as well when I address something and I do a rant and I go off on a tangent of some sort. You'll find yourself in it, either something that you've said, and you can pinpoint to the conversation that you've had, and you'll be able to tell that I've read and I follow along. And sometimes I'll engage in AMAs. I mean, I participate in the Discord fireside chat on a weekly basis. I do some back and forth from time to time in Telegram and in Discord, but definitely you'll be able to find me in this format more frequently over the next coming months, because it is important to have a discussion with the community. It's important for your voices to be heard. I've simply been trying to find a means by which I can have that discussion with you guys that is more familiar with me, that is more natural to me, that is of a production quality as well, that is respectable of the level of discourse that we should be having, that can be as well perhaps taken. And if there's a gem in there somewhere, if there's a particular video that I do that will resonate with more people, and that essentially has somewhat of a value, that it's also in a format that we can subtitle, that can be shared throughout, because inherently, obviously, these videos are going to be done in English. I'm going to be chatting in English. And so, I want to, as much as possible, make those available for everybody, and not everybody has English as their first language or even as their second language. And so being able to put it in a format, and so you'll see why these videos are kept to, and I've got a timer here, these videos are going to be kept to roughly 8 minutes maximum. So I've got a counter going down so that they're digestible, they're small, they're more frequent, and they attempt to address kind of the subject of the day or the subject of the week. Alongside, I've got a bunch of subjects here behind me of things that I want to talk about, things that I've seen you talk about, that I've seen you ask me to talk about. And hopefully, as we do more of these, I'll get better at them. You'll get better on your side as well, because I do envision that this is a discussion between you and I. You'll get better as well as how you can participate in these videos. Despite me being alone right now recording, you play a crucial role. I do very much want this to be a discussion between you and I, but in this particular format. And so you'll see more of these over the coming months. The aim, anyways, is to do these quite frequently. So you have a few of these every week, and that we start a conversation and then we take EOS together. This is one of the formats that we're able to do so outside of the AMMs, outside of the fireside chats, outside of the back and forth, the private discussions, the working groups, etc., etc. This is just one more mechanism for us to have a discussion, for me to gather feedback from the community, and I'm looking forward to it. What do you think?